Okay, thank you. For 7 o'clock, you're welcome. We have a forum. We had 3 work sessions on Tuesday. The countertop.
We'll never get there.
Yeah. Amazon for the charging stations. And the little Jaws dentist next to the old IHOP. And 2 of them had sent in, we thought we'd have them on, but they sent in items that were late and it was more complicated than we thought. And I have talked to Doug and Jamie and I, Terry, just everything's kind of work in progress to make sure that we get as much, it falls on the applicant to make sure that they give us some lead time. Having said that, I'd like to be able to tell everybody on Tuesday that it's either on or off the agenda. And that's gonna be a key from Doug and Mark. They will provide that information for us to know that we have to go ahead and Jamie. So we're okay on the legal counsel. So may I have a motion to approve the minutes? Okay, Kathy and Nathan, all in favor? Okay, thank you. So. Okay. How you doing? Nice to see you. You want to come up? This is the Linden Golf Course. Andy, did you bring any help?
No, well, my business partner's wife's birthday tonight, so I got solo duty.
Well, we usually allow like 15 minutes, but you can have a few extra. This is it. And I just is full disclosure, and he's a friend. Is very well in the golf business and experience in Rochester, Turning Stone. This is about with Sunset Ridge, Wasco, and has done a really nice job at Linden Corners. So approached me, I've looked at the board informed, although this gentleman thinks it was very quaint.
You can come inside and look around. The other one's more fun.
At any rate, go ahead, you just give us.
Mike, I'm one of your,
Thank you.
I co-own Clutch Myers Golf Management, my business partner fellows, his wife, here with me. I'm happy to talk to you about what we kind of came up with last fall when we done 2 5-year leases at Linden, so we had 5-year terms.
So this is Linden Golf Course, just to help these young ladies out about this. Okay, but tell them what you're.
As the second 5-year term came to an end, and we have a triple net lease at Linden for the golf course and the little clubhouse that's on Genesee Street there, the blue. Small. So, but we're responsible for maintenance. That building is getting to the point where it needs a lot. It's a very old building. I don't know when it was built, but it was a long time ago. We kept it together, but when we started looking at what we might have to invest to really have a decent clubhouse or even tear that down and build something up there, the timing came about pretty good. This is a gentleman that used to lease what they call the cottage, if you're familiar with the 92 side of London, right behind our first screen, there's a little white building, which is on the maps that you guys. He had leased that for like 20 years. Taken nice care of it, made it a nice little buildings. Left it. And I know that when you guys got involved at that point, because I think it's sat vacant for at least 6 months and then it flipped back to residential. So we saw the lease sign on that last fall, or available, or whatever it said for sale. We talked to the real estate agent and then we talked to the trust who was managed by Women can trust out of them to the bank. They were working on our new lease and we thought, well, let's see if we can tie this to a 10-year extension where we move out of the old clubhouse, tear it down, get rid of the parking lot, move over into that building, which is still part of their property. It's all one big property. There's the White House, the cottage they called it, and our golf course at the clubhouse. So I think what they had run into is essentially an unsellable, leasable building for them because it's not really a house. It has a bathroom and a hand wash sink, but it was an office for that gentleman for 20-some years. So we got the best of both worlds.
Yeah, well, let me just interrupt you for 30 seconds because I want to turn this over to, because there's the leasing company or the agency had approached us with several different alternatives. And why don't you tell them what was really allowed?
I mean, I think just like Andy said, because it really probably never was a legal use as an office, but we're kind of accepting that maybe it was a non-conforming use. And then it went away because it hadn't been used for at least 6 months, so the only thing that it can be used is the residential, or it can be used in connection with this recreational use.
And that's where we thought it might solve problems on both sides. We didn't have a clubhouse that we really wanted to dump a lot of money into. You know, we'd rather put it into this side of the property, and again, this is our investment, and probably really isn't much. And we lease it, we have to take care of it, but, you know, if we were doing the bare minimum, we'd just stay in the clubhouse and keep patching it together and go on with what it is, but we like the golf course, it's done well for us, people like the golf course, we have, kind of what seniors play there on Wednesday mornings, it's a good community resource. But when you, if you've ever, I don't think, whoever's been in the old clubhouse, but
I've been in it.
it is what it is, but we don't get a lot of tournament play, we don't get the league people to really hang around, they go down to the downs and have coffee, because the clubhouse is not good. There's a, for lack of a better way to put it, it's kind of a dumpy old building, with not a lot of reasons to hang out and enjoy. And if you've ever been in what they call the cottage, it's kind of nice, it's got 3 or 4 rooms that are big, that have windows out, and it's centrally located, the golf course, much better than the actual clubhouse that we're in now. We can only see about 4 holes, 5 holes from where we are. Where that property is, I mean, you could, this is the 7th green, that's the 1st green, the 8th hole's here, there's a tee box that goes this way, and right across the road, there's, excuse me, 2 more holes. So it's a great location for us to just monitor what's going on in the golf course, which is a little bit of a challenge from where we are. And it just fits, and we'd have to reroute the holes a little bit, change the numbers, but the only real change physically to the golf course, which I think is one of the questions that Miller had asked the engineer. The 8th tee is currently right here. And they tee off and go to the green right here. As far as disturbing it, all we'd really be looking at doing is mowing another tee box up here away from the parking lot, probably somewhere near, shortening the hole by probably 30 or 40 yards. It's already the shortest hole in the course anyway. If you played it, it's got a little back green, so even if you're hitting at it from 40 yards, it's still hard to keep it on there. So that's all we'd really be sacrificing from the actual golf course. Everything else will stay intact. We're far less than an acre of disturbance under the DEC that's over an acre. Studies and all that. I think the parking lot itself, the new part of it is only 22,000 square feet or so. So under half an acre.
So you're proposing making parking comparable to what you have,
Yep.
or
I think
more?
the drawing has 43 spaces with 2 real official handicap spaces. We've always had spaces with marked handicap that really weren't accessible because they didn't have the space on either side. So when they did the drawing, we did ask them to kind of consider a better handicap access than what we currently have. So yeah, if you count the space, I think there's 27 here, another 17 there, so it's similar square footage. Because our driveway wraps around and goes down to the cart barn now, if we've ever been through our parking lot, there's 2 ins and outs. There would only be 1 in and out of this, and we'd have to keep the 1 out, or the 1 in and out for the barn for the maintenance staff over there. But the other section of the parking lot from behind our 3rd tee all the way to the clubhouse would return to green space. As well as obviously the building being gone and return to green space, so if you drive down Route 5, you're not gonna see it.
You
You'll see the driveway to the barn.
you talk about berms and some trees.
Yeah, we actually talked to the contractor today about grinding that out of there, using it as fill when we move things around, so we're not gonna even pick it off the property.
It should be part of the site plan,
Mhm.
what you're doing on the other part of the
Yep.
site as well.
And I did speak with Julie Clark and Plumwood.
Yeah.
And one of the things here, Jamie, is this is the whole site. It's a large site. But for a site plan, you're only talking this little spot
Mhm.
and this little spot, you
Right,
know, and I don't know, I mean, does the building stay, does it go, does the parking stay, does it go, right? I mean,
that you-
those are the 2 areas that are really impacted.
Yeah, from here, I mean, this,
70 acres plus or minus, so, you know, my recommendation would be, you know, if they decide to go forward, that we just focus on the areas. There's no need to survey everything.
Oh,
No,
we already did that, but
yeah, no, there's no, well, I said you needed a survey, I'll just follow
the
order.
trust is, I didn't have any.
Yeah.
The trust goes back to the 30s, I think. In the trust.
And then the other question, Julian didn't really know it. You know, basically, what he said, I mean, Andy can tell us the same thing, I think, that, you know, the sketches that were provided were just for the concept to see, you know, before they spend any money to see what's going on.
That's
But this is a little intriguing. I don't know what this really is.
Yeah, I'm not sure why that's drawn on there either. We had Herrick do the survey, who had done some of the work around the White House before. I don't know if he blocked that out because he already surveyed it, but it's not a separate tax map or ID.
It's not,
It's all one property.
it doesn't show on tax maps is separate, but for some reason he's got that there.
When you refine the thought, well, two concerns I have, I mean, you're not planning on changing the building.
The building that we're moving into, no.
And demolishing the other one and taking care of the blacktop.
Yeah,
Make sure-
that's where you're gonna, we're thinking of cooking, you're
Yeah.
about to get there.
Yep. Well, this isn't, there's a dirt road that goes down to the barn here. This is just where car traffic is gone enough to make it a path. It's not a road.
And that's the town of Manlius.
And yeah, actually, when you cut, the property kind of diagonally cuts the wet Manlius on both sides. So everything over here is in Manlius. The sign for Manlius, I believe. is
I
right
believe
about
this is
here.
the town of
Yeah,
Manlius,
yeah.
right?
So basically, from that line back, it's gonna go. Everything that's in DeWitt from here, and even a little bit more, because we really just need to come in and go to the barn. This will all be gone, back to the, past the clubhouse, it'll all be back to grass and green trees.
And so my only issue, and when I see the parking, just is that the number of spaces that you have, you're gonna build what you need, and is somehow screened from the road as much as possible,
The new or the old?
the new.
No, the new comes fairly close to it.
So it's just gonna be an issue that the board,
Yeah,
will.
you could put a hedgerow or something like that there, it's not.
Well, we like it to look natural and stuff. I mean, I know what you had before, so whatever you do is gonna be.
Yeah, I mean, our parking lot is probably closer to the road currently than
Yeah.
it will be over there. This is,
That's Genesee Street,
Yeah.
right? It's a different.
So,
yeah, if there's a requirement that you want us to plant a few shrubs along it or however.
well, just,
whatever.
yeah, see, what, you know how much you need
Well,
in
I mean,
terms of.
whatever's planted between the road and the parking lot, it's gotta be cleared with whatever the utility is, because those are overhead lines. Right there, so we can't plant trees, we can't plant anything that's gonna have any height to it.
Yeah, hedgerow may be a good solution.
Well, you wanna be sure you have visibility, because the DOT is gonna weigh in on people coming in and ingress and egress, especially with one spot.
And
So-
they wanna see the holes across the road, they don't want.
Well, the clubhouse is actually up on a little bit of a hill, so if we had even a 6-foot hedgerow there, we'd see over it.
Where's the AT gonna be?
The AT would just move up towards right now, it's right here. It'll end up being here just so we don't hit anything in
I was
parking.
gonna say, like, what's gonna prevent my 9-year-old?
Our golfers are pretty smart. They would say, they'll do everything they can not to park in these last 5 states. They know. The funny story is the first year we're at, and even the current park, the second green is right there. Balls go over that green into the parking. Pretty right, even into the road pretty right. That parks his night car way down the end. You know, the first place the ball goes and breaks the window while we're there, is that second to last spot. So it's all raining. We could go anywhere. But yeah, we would
I
definitely
got
want to
hit
get,
right in here about a year ago.
yeah.
Oh my God, hit the windshield. I thought it was a shot going on.
No, Lincoln is a unique little place by how close it is to all the roads. I mean, it's not a quiet little golf course by any means. When you get over the hill into the back, it's a little better, but the first 9 currently, there's noise, there's cars, there's traffic, there's trucks. It's a good place to go and concentrate.
Now, clearly, this is a huge improvement. Tell us a little bit about the building and what you intend to do. You said, is it staying the same foundation?
Yeah, absolutely. It's, you know, like I said, we don't really want to invest a lot more money into it. It's about $100,000 project. We figure with the black topping and the excavation, digging everything out, surveying, engineering studies and stuff that we've done. You know, it's enough for us to move in for 10 years, and it's only 10 grand a year, and that's something we think we can take out of our budget and make it a title golf course. But the building itself is fine. You go inside, there's actually a pretty big room that would be our pro shop. And then there's a couple auxiliary rooms where we can set up tables and chairs, and there's a shed back here that we could convert to just kind of a weekend snack bar with a gas grill and grill some hot dogs and hamburgers. And that's one thing we really never had since we've been there, good food service at all. And we tried the first year, Phil and I were there doing it ourselves, cooking hot dogs, we sold some stuff, but it still wasn't that. That little porch at Linden here, 25 feet from the spot. Nobody wants to sit there and enjoy an afternoon of golf course views and peaceful, it's just not. But when you get up in here, it's pretty quiet. 92 is only 2-way traffic. It's not trucks as much as it is on Route 5. It's not traffic buzzing by 20 feet from where you're sitting. That's what we liked about it the most, is we can get it back away from the road and have much, our golf carts can get just as close as the car to the road. We've had several near misses where cars have had an accident, come off that hill or missed the turn and come in there and almost put half the fleet carts or worse.
Well, the only thing, this is for personal, whatever food you're planning to manage, talk to the Onondaga County Health
Oh
Department.
yeah, we've had health permits, we do it at Sunset Ridge.
Yeah, well, it depends on what, if you increase the cooking, you may need a grease trap. And that could,
If it's changed in the last 8 years, when we were cooking outside, they were fine. If we were inside, obviously, then
Alright.
everything's going down the drains, but if we're just grilling hot dogs on a barbecue grill, we're fine, then I'll check and make sure they are now.
So,
But we could also put a grease trap.
I was just gonna say this has to go to county,
Yeah.
and wondering if anyone has weighed in on the entrance there for this
Yeah.
kind of use.
yeah,
They may, so you might wanna look at that.
As far as traffic goes, I mean, our peak times are on the weekends, obviously, we're the busiest on Saturdays and Sundays, but Route 92 tends to slow down a little bit on the weekends. It's 8 and 5 a.m., 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. are obviously when that road is difficult to cross, even on our golf carts, which do that. But our leagues typically start between 3 and 5, so they're already on the property by the time the traffic really gets going. And 8 in the morning is usually pretty quiet.
well, you're gonna need to touch base with the DOT. And,
Well, that's why I was gonna hope I could get a contact from somebody who does know our area, because I've not talked to.
No, that's
DOT.
fine.
Just making sure.
The other thing that ties into the DOT part of it is there's currently 2 crosswalks. And this plan we would reduce that to 1 that's right in front of the clubhouse, so. Traffic wise, that's better for flow and less likely to rear end somebody. on the path. Because we did get several times, they put up 2 very nice crosswalks, which years ago we sent in a petition to the state to do something, because it's. The cars are, it's 40 or whatever it is, but they're going 55, 60 through there a lot. And we've had a lot of, we've got a lot of people that don't like to cross the road at all and just stay on the other side. But we put in the petition, they didn't, I think we were trying to get the razor or tunnel or light. None of that ever got approved, obviously, but shortly after that, those crosswalks showed up and we didn't even ask them. They're solar powered, push button, and they do light up and they've helped a lot.
The people have got.
What are you talking?
Take care.
We'd actually have to move both of them. They're both spread out, one side of the temple, the other one by the,
would you put it in the comment? We'll get you the comment, Doug, no.
Really, I don't know.
That'd be great.
And they got a straight place there.
Yeah, it would actually be directly in front of it. Right now, it's down here, there's aqua number 10. And then there's another one farther down off of 18, so, and there is kind of a crown of a hill there, which is one of the issues with straight through. If you move it back here, at least there's more sight lines to get to it, because it would basically come out of the end of the driveway or somewhere near the end of the parking area here. To get across and go right down to what will be our new. Numbers of that, please, 11. 12.
Well, this is a gateway into DeWitt, literally, and it'll be a nice improvement.
Well, the great thing is the building's already there. And when I
And
asked
there was
them
no
for any
use,
construction,
basically, other than residential, and I don't know that you're gonna get any. It's not designed for
I'm pretty
residential.
sure the trust doesn't think they're gonna do it. He was very happy when we came up with the idea that
I was happy when
we
you
could use the building.
called me in November, I thought. Usually I get all kinds of calls, this was a good one.
Yeah, it really will spruce up the property overall, because the building that's kind of falling down on one side will be gone. And then we painted it blue when we first got there to make it look different. But it's still kind of ugly. This is a nice quaint light little building with a porch and railings and it looks like a clubhouse out there, really does.
Consideration was given to putting the parking. Or something.
Over here, we just don't have the room. This is very tight to that green.
Like just going down away from, because you know, more space along the road to the right,
Down the way, which direction?
just down that way, just nearer it across your drive.
Over here?
Yeah,
Well, there's a lot of growth in trees there and it's kind of not as flat a terrain. I mean, it would be
kind of roughed
doable.
off and it's wet there.
And as far as what will get hit with golf balls, this would be high target. Here, because there's people hitting this way right to that green. This is the most out of the way we could put it without impacting as much of the golf course. When he first drew it, he had a lot more of it over here. And we just about lost the entire hole. There's no space on the property to build another hole really without really getting into some major.
Yeah, I mean, what was bugging him was just a little leg.
This one here?
Yeah.
It's just like
Yeah.
taking that and, you know, splitting it across the entry drive or kind of getting rid of.
I can ask the engineer with some excavation, you might be able to get it. I don't know if we have enough width to get another well parked.
I think you want, no, I think you want to preserve that green right in front.
Yeah, it looks.
Yeah, it looks nice, eh?
I'm not advocating for that. I'm just wondering.
But if we're back to 27 spaces, it won't be.
No, you don't wanna lose space.
No, I don't want you to lose spaces. I just, instead of kind of pushing the parking up that hole.
Just keep going with it. That'd be another option.
You just have them get creative and maybe option 1 or 2
Yeah.
and see what works. It's not gonna
Yeah, I mean,
cost
that's,
you more.
we didn't have him draw it that way, but if he kept going this way, we might, I don't know if we can pick up 17 spaces without getting into the brush and trees and closer to the White House back parking.
I bet you could.
But we gotta look at it.
Once you get if you get a double loaded in there,
And now we can put our TVs right here.
and then nobody's hitting.
Yeah, no, it's not
cars,
big.
they're all behind you.
Now, the stuff that goes around behind is a cart path to get up to the building. That would also obviously be handicapped, accessible, you just feel right, there's no stairs or steps, it just feel a cart path paved there. Behind the building would be a smaller parking lot with the carts. And cart storage area. And then the existing driveway is there and exactly as it is, it's kind of rough shape, so we repaved that.
So that's a huge win-win. I like that, what you're suggesting. Excuse me, but I also think of the natural, low.
Mhm.
Ground cover that, that can make it. Especially with it being, up higher.
Mhm.
All right. Just, send them to work, I would just let me just. You like
I'm
it,
fine with it, yeah.
Nathan? Like,
Absolutely.
Do we have any?
I've already talked.
County or it's not that, it's still concept.
it's not no problem, Senator.
We need a seeker,
Oh, we do.
yeah, an EAF, and send it to.
It has to go to the county, the plan, they look at it, it's a procedural. No, thanks for coming in.
What's your timeframe?
Whenever we have to go ahead, the contractor that we talked to, that he just did our massive pavement project at Sunset Ridge to about $500,000, so he gave us the quotes. I said, well, when we get approval, he goes, look, I got 300 driveways to get done this summer, if you call me tomorrow, I'll be there the next day. So
Right,
he's a good, his boss is a member of the Alaska Country, so Golf has always got some connections to people.
I just want to say this thing about the county. Well, it's a 30-day timeframe, so.
The clubhouse
We
already-
got everything, we can send it in.
Oh, we did it?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, if you can send it in, that's great, and if you can give me contacts for the DOT, I'll be happy to get the crosswalk and discussion going and whatever numbers we need.
That'll be great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Congratulations, it's good. Good, very successful.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna ask to adjourn the meeting. So we don't have one. I think we failed. It's too hot.
Yes, a lot.
Yeah.
is it still sitting there? Uninstalled?
But I would ask for a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Thank you. Joe, is that Joe?
Joe, you're on mute.
You want to adjourn, Joe? Okay. Well, it's his granddaughter's birthday.
I saw his lips move, he said
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, thank you. So, it was all unanimous and, let's close the meeting. You can't leave though. Gotta stay for a little longer.
I mean, it depends, does Joe wanna stick around? Joe, do you wanna stick around for the conversation after?
No.
No.
Get rid of the-
I know.
Recording. Yes, but is there anybody?
You can fill me in tomorrow, doesn't matter.
I'm gonna see you tomorrow at 6:30, so.
Yep.
All right. Thank you.
All right.
Joe.
Yep, thanks, bye.
Happy birthday to your.
Yep, I will, thanks.